Hello everybody, I am the Chris who plays games and playing retro games every Monday at 9:15 whenever I feel like. Every Friday at 9:15 tonight we are playing Mega Man Zero for the Game Boy Advance. This is actually the first Game Boy Advance game I've ever played here on the channel, so I thought, I hope, oh that is way too loud, I hope that you will enjoy it. I'm excited, I hope you're excited, and let's see if that's a little bit better. There we go. So according to the walkthrough that I have in front of me, it says, start off by going all the way left and then shoot a hidden cage. Hey, I got a cyber elf. There you go. Cool. I guess that I can get cyber elves. So now I have this elf. So I can do that. I have the Clockpaw elf. So I guess there's that. I don't understand how any of this works, but yes. Ha ha. Yeah, so I mean, I guess there's that. I don't know how to get out of here with that chosen. Seems like I can't choose a cyber elf. I don't know. But, whatever. Alright, now I can dash. I know how to do that now. Cool. Okay. What do we get? Limit the extra to come across. Since there are only two, blah blah blah, stacks in the level. Kill all these things. Let's just go. I'm just gonna run through. We're gonna play this the same way I play every other Mega Man game. I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna shoot all the things and they're all gonna die and I'm gonna win. That's the way it goes. Anyway, hello, Supermodel, Jeff, Brad, Yugi, everybody else, welcome to the stream. It's good to have all of you here. I hope that none of you were too disappointed or surprised when I didn't make it here at 9:15. Sadly, I was out organizing with socialists and so I could not make it here in time, but I'm here now and that's really what matters, so there is that. I hope your weekend was okay. I hope that you were able to enjoy me playing the game called Volume on Friday if you were here. And if not, I hope you'll join me again when I play on this coming Friday. I got another cyber elf now, I guess. Now I got the Stuku elf as well, so I guess there's that. But I don't seem to be able to actually use these elves, so I'm not really sure how useful they're going to be for me, but whatever. I'm sorry you were disappointed and surprised. So, as I mentioned several times, this seems to be a blah blah blah. We could find a trans server. Alright, let's find a trans server. Is that like transformation, transportation? Transgender, I don't, like, sure, let's go back. Stay back! Oh, the hand grabbed her, of course. Great. Awesome. Run, you can't damage this thing with a buster. You want to bet? I totally can damage this thing with a buster. I am all-powerful Mega Man. Oh god. I'm gonna shoot the ceiling. Ow! Okay, well, it can damage me without a buster by just throwing rocks at my head, but that's a different issue. Alright. Alright, so dodge the rocks falling on my head this time. Good plan. There we go. Fast as fast can be. You'll never get me. Anyway, yeah, so I helped organize the voting system that the DSA used for our most recent election, and this was our implementation meeting discussion. Use this, Zero. Who are you? Hurry, you have to save her. Don't waste time. I got the Z-Saber. What does the Z-Saber do? Oh, I shot her. Alright, sub-weapon. So how do I use my sub-weapon? I use my sub-weapon by pressing the R button. I guess. Alright, let's try and, oh, Z-Saber. There we go. Okay. Oh. It doesn't seem to be... It's a sub-weapon. The Z-Saber. R. Okay, that is the R button. Seems like that's working. R plus B button. Aha! Okay. So that's how I slash things. There we go. Cool. Mission completed. Success! Alright, stick to the walls and shoot the golem. Just relax. I'm sorry for forcing you to wake up, and thank you for saving me. I'm a scientist. Let's go to our base before more enemies arrived. Something 0. 0 saving me from the golem. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. Fine. Let's go. Let's do it. Tonight's t-shirt is my, you know, It's Dangerous to Go Alone, Use Signal, Use Tor t-shirt. So that is one that I got, bought online from a guy named Parker Higgins. Cool dude, who put it together. This one's the old brand. It's from before Signal and Tor updated their logos. So, okay, so what do I have to do now? Do I have to, like, push a button? I don't know. Where do I go? I feel like she wanted me to... Oh, okay. I was like, I pushed up. Nothing happened, but whatever. The trans server is still active. Stand on the trans server and press control pad up, and you can go back to our resistance space. Oh, it's like a transportation server. Okay. There we go. Hello, James. Hello. All right. My level B codename Sniper. Great. Whatever. Let's just go. Welcome to our resistance space. Alright, something Mavericks. Fought so hard to survive. The end is coming, but that's why we've been looking for you. Last our hope. We've looked for you. You are 0. Something to save the X. Okay, so Mega Man X is trying to retire people. Being retired as you speak. Sure, I'll help you. Something, something, talk to people. Okay, let's go this way. Okay, that didn't work. I probably should have read more of that story. It's locked. Well, I'll just go this way. It says exit. Okay. Is this like a whole, like... I see 0 is your name. I don't know, whatever. Yep, got a haircut, finally. Needed to do that for too long. And so I finally took care of that. Good on me. I'm in an energy room now, I guess. So there's that. Hey, look, I got some energy. Cool. 0's my name. Playing video games is my game. I mean, that's not really a game so much. That's just like a hobby. I don't know, it's something. Yeah. Whoa, okay, so, yeah. It's Monday. What happened today? What happened today? Trump is being an idiot. The government is still shut down. There is an ongoing feud over everything. I did save Dr. Seal, yes. Please help her. Well, I can't help her because she didn't want anything from me. I did name one of the games in my my description, in my games library. One of my games is called Cleaning the Basement. It was a pretty fun game. So... Yes, Soldier 76 is gay. It's true. He had a lover named Vincent, but Vincent got married to somebody else, and so now Soldier 76 is sad. Shutdown won't last a year. Won't happen. The reality is that, like, the government does not need Trump to bring it back. The government is perfectly capable of being restored as soon as Mitch McConnell gets off his butt. The bill that the Republicans, or the funding bill that would bring the government back to life, passed the Senate with 71 votes. There is absolutely no reason that McConnell could not take that same bill that passed with 71 votes. Okay. Your memory's been improving since you obtained the Zoo Saber. Everything you learned in battles, your past life will come back to you. Okay, something stars, whatever. Will you spare me some energy crystal? I don't have any energy crystals. Oh, okay. I guess I do. Hey, you said you wanted 250 crystals. I gave them to you, and then you're like, that's not enough. I need more. Like, screw you, buddy. Whatever. Alright. Let's move this way. Yeah, so, well, so at this point, Jose, given that, like, Soldier 76 was the head of Overwatch, Like, Tracer is poster girl for Overwatch. Like, the chances that everyone in Overwatch are gay, like, is you know, pretty high at this point, I feel like. Except for Torbjorn. I feel like Torbjorn doesn't fit the right trope. But everyone else is probably gay. Winston, gay. D.Va, gay. They're all gay. For the record, I saw that theory on Twitter before I saw it from you, so I'm just reciting someone else's joke, so. Alright, so here's a trans server. That seems like it'll take me someplace. Underground laboratory, is that where I want to go? I don't know. Underground laboratories. Level up your weapons. Okay. So this is back where I came from, but I can come back through here, and I can level up my weapons, apparently? According to the internet forum walkthrough that I'm reading. I think this is a good... I guess I had not realized that this game feels like more RPG-ish than a lot of Mega Mans, so wasn't really prepared for that. I mean... Are you saying that Winston's not gay? Because I feel like Winston is definitely... I feel like that's unreasonable. I don't know who Reyes is, so there's that. I'm really bad at Overwatch lore, apparently. Alright, so is my weapon leveling up? No, it's not yet. You said the gorilla. You said he was a heterosexual character. Oh, Reaper. Okay, I know who Reaper is. I play as Reaper sometimes. It's like the only DPS character I'm comfortable playing because I don't really have to aim that much. Alright, my Z-Saber's skilled up, so I can now perform a something. A double slash. Hoo-ha! Ha-ha! I am powerful. Wah-ha-ha! Ha-ha-ha! Ha-ha-ha! There you go. No, but so I guess this kind of happened on Friday, but I wasn't caught up on it at the time. Is that so Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in some interview or other suggested a 70% marginal income tax on incomes over $10 million, which is a great idea and we should do it. Of course, the entire, you know, right-wing people have gone nuts because they like to pretend that they don't understand marginal income tax. That if you had a 70% marginal income tax on incomes over $10 million, that everyone would pay 70% of their income in taxes, which is of course not how that works. Unless your income is infinity, like that's not how it works. I think at one point I did do the math. It was like, you know, if people, in order to have, so like at the time I think the highest income bracket was 39%, and the next lowest income bracket was 35% or whatever else like that. And I tried to do the math to figure out like when would your overall income tax equal like within 0.5% of your total, and it's like once you make $1.7 billion or something like that, then the number is actually equal. Before that, obviously it's less, because if you pay 39% of taxes, like 39% of your income is taxes on the first 10 million, which isn't what happens either, but if you did that, then when you like get your, and then you pay 70% on your $10 million and $1, then you're only paying 39% plus like a tiny amount. But there's so many people who don't understand marginal income tax because most taxes in the US aren't marginal. Like property taxes aren't marginal, sales taxes aren't marginal, like none of these things are set up such that you like, well, I mean some state taxes are, but like property taxes and sales taxes aren't. And so like most people just are not used to dealing with this or anything other than income tax. And so they're just completely caught off guard and don't know how to process the information. So there's that. And then of course there's the fact that for whatever reason, people in the US think that they're all just temporarily embarrassed multimillionaires and that they'll all be this point at some point. Like a $10 million income is only applicable to 16,000 households in the entire country. Out of like 160 million households or something like that, there's only like 16,000 that this would apply to. So like this is not even the top like 1%, it's like the top 0.1% that you're talking about. So I agree that regressive taxes are trash. Yeah, no, absolutely. Regressive taxes are trash. Gas taxes are problematic because of this. Overall, we should have way more. I mean, realistically, we should just have like a way higher income tax that's marginal. So. I mean, Zero's got like long hair. Is Zero a guy or a girl? I don't know anything about the Zero character because I didn't bother to read any of the lore. So there's plenty of ways to maintain roads. Like a huge number of like interstates and stuff like that are maintained with federal funds, which should be funded out of income taxes. I generally am in favor of things which help encourage appropriate behavior. I guess, so gas taxes are special because I think that there's a huge component of like environmental stuff that like we need to engage in applying whatever costs we can. For refusing to allow people to externalize costs of climate change, right? So gas taxes are good at that because it makes it more expensive to travel via car, and that's a good thing. But I do worry that in places where cars are necessary for transportation, that like flat gas taxes are a regressive tax on the poor who need their vehicles to, you know, get to work. And that one's harder for me, so. I think Zero's a dude. Well, so France has a huge number of issues, right? Like it's suffering under, and this is true of any country that's like, overall we're dealing with a huge amount of countries that are still suffering from a global recession, largely caused by shitty financial practices of uber capitalists in the US that has negatively affected the economy of the whole world, and we're all kind of fucked, and that's kind of terrible. So. I think my wife would appreciate if they could tax my gas somehow so she could like afford to buy a gas mask after I have chili, but I think that's a different kind of gas tax than we're talking about. For the record, I am currently attempting to grind my Saber skill up to level 4 because according to the walkthrough in front of me, that will make my next level much easier, so. Yeah, so France like increased taxes on the poor while reducing them on the rich, and anytime you're doing that, like that's a problem. But yeah, so there's been a huge amount of the discourse over the past week that has been about that. Of course, we talked a lot about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's dancing thing, which was, you know, created as prompted as a, I think, so the text that caused the video in question to go viral said something about, you know, everyone's favorite socialist looking like a ditz or a, you know, like an idiot or something else like that. And I'm just like, I don't understand, like, how you're associating this with somebody being, and I know I screwed up and said stupid during my last stream, but, like, I don't understand how you're associating this with someone being unintelligent. Like, people can, like move their head around or their hair around or dance around and still be smart. I mean, Ted Cruz or somebody was on Dancing with the Stars, weren't they? One of the Republican presidential candidates, I feel like, was on Dancing with the Stars, and it was something that I wouldn't have expected it to be because they seem like they have absolutely no rhythm, groove, or anything else like that. So, I don't know. Like people dance. I don't know. Again, it's so hard because like the people who quote these things and the people who popularize these things I think Ted Cruz has managed to keep himself in office despite being an utterly vile human being. There must be some intelligence there. Like I think that many Republicans behave in bad faith. I don't think that they're dumb. I think that they're like intentionally trying to trick the people who vote for them to believe things that are untrue, and that requires a fair amount of intelligence. And like, you know, he's a Zodiac killer, so, you know, there's that. Yeah. I did spend part of today looking back into getting into an RSS reader again. I don't know if you know, but I actually wrote an RSS spec, back in 2005. So oh, Rick Perry, there you go. Thanks, Slave. Oh wow, I have like a machine gun. I don't know when I got that, but okay, cool. I don't know why, like, since when do I have, like, aren't I just supposed to have a gun in my arm? Like, what is with this? This is crazy. The Canadian one is Ted Cruz. Right? He's the one who was actually born in Canada and they weren't sure if he could run because he was like because it says natural born citizen and that's means something, so. Okay, I can now charge my slash. Alright, cool. Oh yeah, Rick Perry is the one who thought that the like Department of Energy was about managing like oil and gas and everything else like that. And then he found out that actually it's about nuclear energy, and specifically not nuclear energy, but just like nukes. So yeah, good on him. All right, cool. Yep, capitalism is bad. We should get rid of it. We should replace it with socialism, but not with socialists, because they suck. Alright. Okay. Return to the base, take the elevator to the bottom, and there's a Reploid. I fed him 250... Oh, I probably didn't have 250 crystals. Okay, so I fed him all the crystals I had, and that wasn't enough, which is why he didn't get out of my way. Alright. Now I have 250. I can come over here. I can feed this guy. Yeah, just get out of my way. I got a cyber elf, apparently. Now talk to CL to go on the next mission. Cool. You know what? I don't even know what we should do anymore. Everything is terrible. I have actually been, so Liz Warren is on her like presidential like speaking tour or whatever she's currently off doing. So she's in Iowa and doing all the things around there and so on and so forth. And so I've been listening to some of her talking, and I'm actually really enjoying listening to her speak. I think she's always been a little bit stiff when I've heard her. I've always been really, like, Liz Warren is my senator. I've always been really happy with, like, the things that she believes in. But I've always found her to be, like, a little bit straight-laced and stiff. And I think she's actually, like, listening to her speak recently, I'm actually, like, impressed that she's kind of modified some of that tone. So that's been interesting. How do I talk to her? Hello? Talking is not working. No, enjoy, like, the fact that, like, I am not going to suffer from someone, like, because of something is not a reason that I should not be, concern myself with it. Like, that is the absolute worst garbage take. It is exactly how we get into all of the problems that we have, and I'm pretty sure you weren't being serious, but it's just, like, a common belief from people. I'm trying to get Seal to talk to me, but she won't fucking talk to me. Alright, I'll leave that place to you. But yes, cost of living is going up. Wages have been flat for, you know, realistically for decades. Productivity has risen drastically, but the profits haven't come back. Corporations have changed their approach from being to, like, create a better world to one that is about, yes, I saved Seal. Okay, cool. And so, yeah. But yeah, so Liz Warren Liz Warren's a huge capitalist, right? Big fan of capitalism. Big fan of using the tools that capitalism has and creating better capitalism. I've been really happy with her speaking recently. I will admit that, like, more so than I expected. She's been saying things that I am finding myself sympathetic to. And I appreciate that some of the things that she's demanded, for example, her Accountable Capitalism Act would require employee representation on boards of companies with more than $1 billion in revenue. I think that's great. It is in line with one of the demands that the Google walkout organizers had when we all walked out of Google like a couple months ago. Like, there's clearly valuable things in what she's saying. On the other hand, it feels like it's just like such a fucking broken system, so... So, no, not like, I think that there is a level to which, a better world's the wrong thing. Longer term thinking is actually what I believe, right? I believe that corporations of the past, for not all of them, not everyone, but overall, I believe that there was an aspect of longer term thinking rather than only short term gains. You're right, I am mythologizing somewhat, because obviously Standard Oil and, like, these companies that knew about like, global warming and hid the statistics, or, like, Philip Morris, who, like, went ahead and tried to, like, you know, hide the fact that cigarette smoking killed you, and other things like that, are things that, like, were... I don't know, different. Like, they were clearly not trying to match. Okay, what the fuck do I have to do here? I mean, I think that that's part of the argument that the op-ed for the Accountable Capitalism Act actually called out. I don't know. Hold on. Okay. Mega Man Zero playthrough. Let's see if I can figure out how to do here. The Awakening, blah, 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 story, do a thing, come here, go there, talk to this person, go over here. Okay, how did you talk to her? You go in here. Like, yeah, what? Alright. So I can, but is changing my main or sub weapon gonna matter? Like, those are both, that's fine, but like, in the thing I just watched, someone just, like, walks up to her and talks to her, and she answers, and that's not happening here. Okay, so you, like, regulatory policy changed? Alright, that's fair. Like, alright, it's not the intent, it's not that corporations, like, changed their intention, it's just that they had to change because the law changed and stopped preventing them from doing things. That's fine. I'll accept that. Like, I am wrong, and that is the way I'm wrong. I hear you. So do I have, like, I have some money, like... Come to the energy room. But I don't know what changed in corporate government. I mean, so, like, it seems clear to me that, like, Silicon Valley tech corporations in particular, right? So, like, Google's whatever it's called, Google's voting stock is owned, like, solely by 3 people. Like, the majority of it is owned solely by 3 people. Like, Eric, Larry, and Sergey are the only people who get to vote on things, and because boards of directors are set entirely by shareholders, it means that those 3 can pick the boards of directors, and the board of directors is who, like, would fire them or tell them they're doing something wrong. And 100% that, like, weakening of unions is what caused... Like, getting angry at this game now. Alright. Save state. trying to figure out if there's like a... Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, this is fucking stupid. Like, I tried... Ugh, whatever. Okay, fine. Whatever. Thank you, Mark. Bluh, I'm angry. Yes, I will accept. Yes, save. No data. Great. Data saved. Awesome. Alright, rescue our something something. Yay, thank you. I was like freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I do not understand. And I sliced this thing to bits because it hit me. Yeah, so this is definitely different than a standard Mega Man game, right? Standard Mega Man game has no, like, multi-pathing, has none of this RPG-ish, like, level your shit up stuff. Like, Mega Man is not supposed to be like this, so I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this game so far. My opinions are not currently positive, I think I can say. Can I jump on this thing? Yeah, okay. As a huge fan of NES Mega Man games, this one is leaving me disappointed. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the soundtrack, Supermodel, since I'm cranky about the game. I'm glad someone's enjoying something. So it was actually like, Celso Louise told me, like, don't bother with Cyber Elves. And at the moment, I can't figure out how to use them, so they're really not relevant to me. I got a Cyber Elf. Great. Awesome, I guess. Like, makes no difference to me, so whatever. Get out of here. I'm totally gonna die. Give me some life. Ow. That was not life. That was getting hit in the head. Okay, so, yeah, okay. So, corporations were better in the past because they were controlled by regulations that caused them to be better. Tech corporations in particular have learned from the risk of having shareholders who can control what you do and decided they're not really interested in that. I'm like, game over? Seriously? Let's restart saved game rather than using one of my retries. Yeah, let's do that. I was actually trying. Maybe I'm not trying really hard because I was kind of cranky, so let's, we'll try harder this time. Okay, yeah, and certainly like the lack of unions, huge problem, right? Like we should be drastically increasing union power. We should be moving back towards some of the great things that unions gave us, like the weekend. Regulations about locking children in factories and then allowing them to catch fire. All kinds of cool things that we got out of unions, I feel like. So I know that there's a lot of people who have very negative opinions on unions because, like, unions have been used to, like, because unions are a form of power, and any form of power will be abused. But if you compare the abuses of power that produce, one thing over another thing, I think that overall we are definitely worse off in the past, like, end time period than we were, 20 years ago, so. Most people are. Not everybody, of course, right, so. I have never tried going to Disneyland on the weekend. I've never tried going to Disneyland at all, in fact. So I feel like maybe the problem is going to Disneyland and not the weekend. Alright. So you're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna get hit. How do I... Oh, right. I have 2 weapons. I was like, how do I get past you? Like, I can't shoot you. I can't hit you with my blade. You're too close to the edge, he says, not remembering that he has a freaking gun. God damn it. But yes, so I've been listening to more Liz Warren, and I have been pleased that she has felt less wonky, because she's a wonk. I mean, she's a policy wonk, right? Like she's like a Harvard-trained economist and academic for the past bajillion years. Like that's what she was she did something at Consumer Fraud Protection Board or whatever it's called, the CFPB. But overall, like she's a very wonky person, and I don't mean that in like the silly or goofy way. I mean like she's a policy wonk. And so it's not surprising to me that she sounds like that. In fact, that's what I like. It's part of what I liked about Hillary Clinton. But she has been out there and you know, commenting in serious ways on things, but without being as wonky seeming to me, which is good. So I am slightly less cranky now about the idea that she's running for president. So. All right, let's open the shutter then. Let me in. So, you know, I don't know. Look, I only know how to use one weapon at a time, okay? It's not my fault. Oh god. I'm gonna die. God damn it. Okay, I guess I'm gonna use one of my retries here just so I can, like, make progress and not feel so blech. Alright. God damn it. Probably should have done this last time, but whatever. It's fine. We're fine. We're fine. It's all fine. Okay. Yeah, so money moves too fast. So, but yeah, so, but regardless, so like the reason that tech CEOs want to have control is, in theory, so they can engage in more like long-term thoughtful behavior. But I don't know. I don't get the feeling that that's being effective. Like I don't know why, but I feel like there's still like now, you know, with Google's like new CFO, I just feel like there's so much focus on like short-term money. Like Google has $100 billion in the bank, and they're still out here being like, oh, well, we're gonna like make these micro optimizations in how we spend money that are harmful. You know, Google. I like one of the things that makes me the most frustrated is just like Google's tendency to use like vendors and contractors to, for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is behind why they do that, but I think that it's a like harmful social dynamic, and it feels like the type of thing that is primarily to save money, because like now like temps and vendors and stuff like that are like more than 50% of Google's workforce, and that's just a lot. And that's like a trend that feels like it changed after I started there and after the new CFO came in and so on and so forth. Google? I doubt there's any time when Google isn't in at least 20 lawsuits. Like, no. Google is always in a million lawsuits. That's a big corporation. Like, that's not a Google thing. That's how big corporations work. They're always getting sued. Alright, I rescued them. Mission complete. That is the Thunder Chip, I presume. You must get it before you return to the base. I got the Thunder Chip. Watch me die now. My one life. God, who knows? But yeah, so I don't know. I am no expert on capitalism, and you're right that. Well, so one thing that I saw mentioned this weekend is that okay, yes. I got the escape unit. Cool. Let's destroy train. Yes, I will accept your mission. I like this music. It's good. Platform is in the opposite direction. I mean, Qualcomm is basically just like a patent trolling company at this point, right? Like, do they make, I guess they make things. I'm being a little bit silly, but like, patent lawsuits are where their bread and butter is, so I would not be surprised to find out that, like, they're in a lot of lawsuits over them. Okay, yeah, so, I don't know. Everything is bad. We should give workers more power. We should move more power away from oligarchs. We should drastically increase taxes on the rich, although it is worth noting that as far as I can tell, drastically increasing taxes on the rich won't be enough to get us out of our current, like, income taxes on the rich will not be nearly enough to get us out of our current hole. If you drastically increase the income taxes, like, I looked at, like, the records, and the top 1% are people who make over, like, $492,000 a year in households filing jointly or whatever, right? So that's the top 1%. If you were to tax all of their income above $400,000 or $500,000 a year at 100%, right? 100% marginal tax rate over $500,000. No one's proposing doing this, but and there's other problems, but, like, just set that aside for now. Like, if you were to do that, you would get an additional $1.2 trillion a year in tax revenue. Our current annual deficit is $750 million a year, and our debt is $21 trillion. So if you were to do that with the, like, ignoring all of the side effects that would have and everything else like that, like, it would still be the case that you would, oh God. It would still be the case that it would take you 37 years to pay back the current debt load of the US that we have. And that's kind of crazy. So, I mean, I assume that that's not actually what, like, you would do with that money, in the same way that, like, just because you have, like, money in the bank doesn't mean that you instantly pay off, like, all of your, you know, low interest loans or whatever else like that. Like, that's not how it works. But it's still crazy to me to think that even if you were to tax every dollar made over $500,000 a year 100%, and then, like, just work on paying off the debt, it would take the next 2 generations. So yeah. No, Qualcomm makes all the, like, the chips. Yeah. Okay, what am I rescuing? Okay, I'm rescuing this thing. Well, I'm not worried. It was just a discussion that came up on... It was a discussion that came up and made me pissy last night because, you know, it was... it was in the context of, like, have you told everyone you know that makes more than $1 million that they're, like, evil? And I'm like, fuck off. Alright, let's try this again. Yes, I will accept. Let's go this way. But yeah, so I was having a conversation, and someone on Facebook said, like, what if we were to take all of the income over, like, $1 million a year and tax it at 100%? And I was like, like, here's the math, but it feels, and they're like, how many social programs could we get out of this? And I was like, we couldn't get any. We couldn't get any new social programs because we have racked up 2 generations of debt. And so if you were to, like, you can't, like, keep adding on to that if you're going to be, you know, talking about taxing things, and I don't know. It's stupid, right? Because that's not how, like, real national fiscal budgeting works. Like, countries have debt, and that's just a thing, and the US has the reserve currency, and so you wouldn't get rid of all that debt. It wouldn't make any sense. But it's still the math that I did, and I was like, huh, like, that worked out approximately not how I would have expected. So it does point out, though, of course, that, like, there's really no reason for us to increase taxes on the lower percentiles of income earners, because all of the money to be made can be made at the top. Like, I think Biden, oh god, fucking Biden. Biden's in the, like, talking about being in the presidential race, and he went out today and he was like, I don't think that anyone thinks that it's just, like, the billionaires who, like, we can just solve the problem by, like, heavily taxing billionaires or whatever. And I'm like, dude, that is exactly what I think. Like, there's a huge amount of the problems that, like, we could fix by drastically increasing taxes on billionaires. Like, that is absolutely the case. Don't say I don't think that. All right, so I should figure out how to use these freaking cyber elves. Like, yeah, I want you to cure me, but I can't figure out how to. Like, the buttons here are not. I'm lacking a button that does a thing that I want it to do, and I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, I mean, it does nothing useful in that space. There are more of them, but they're poor. That's the whole thing. Like, yeah, no, absolutely. So if I press the L button, nothing happens. I press the R button, nothing happens. I can press up and down and move around this thing, but that doesn't do anything. I can press, like, this button, like the 4 buttons here, nothing happens. So I wonder if there's like a controller button that I have not mapped. L, R, A, B, start, select, left, right, up, down. Nope, that's all the buttons. I didn't actually even realize there's only B and A, so, like, I have been pushing extra buttons that do nothing for me. So, alright. I don't know. I mean, I don't disagree that we should also tax the millionaires, especially the multimillionaires. Like, but even the millionaires, even the half millionaires, we should increase their taxes. Like, we should not be decreasing taxes on anyone. Sorry, should not be decreasing taxes on anyone in the top 1%. Like, that is pure folly and madness. But I do think that Biden's point was so. I said this kind of without a little bit of this context, but his point that he was trying to make was like, oh, we definitely have to cut back on spending, and I feel like that is not the right. That is not what I agree with. Especially because I think that, like, when Biden says we have to cut back on spending, what he means, like what everyone else means, is we have to cut back on spending on social programs, not we need to cut back on spending on the $1 trillion we spend on our military, that we need to cut back on spending on the, you know, the tons and tons of spending we're spending on debt, that we need to cut back on, like, these other things are not what he's thinking in that context. Because no one ever is. And so there was a 60 Minutes interview with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, every right-winger's like favorite person to attack lately, interviewed by the dead to Jose Anderson Cooper, where he basically said, like, how do you plan to pay for the green energy deal or whatever? And she was like, how do you plan to pay for Space Force? Like, why is it that we're always asked how we plan to pay for, like, these things, but not, like, no one has ever asked how they plan to pay for, you know, anything like the healthcare and education and housing and all these other things. Like, they're like, how are you going to pay for it? But that when it's you know, Space Force, nobody asks. I really do wish that I could borrow that guy's arm. I agree. Ow. Alright, let's try this again. Oh yeah, that was also great. Like, do you think Donald Trump is a racist? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. And he's like, how can you say that? It's like, what do you mean, how can I say that? How can I say that? Like, 70% of Americans say that. Like, first of all, like, I'm a representative of my district. But regardless of what I think, the people that I represent very much think that Trump is a racist. Like, second of all, like, he's a racist. He's been, like literally he's been indicted and, like, you know, had to pay fines in federal court because he's a racist. Like, his Central Park 5 positioning has been racist since, like, the 1980s. Like, he has been racist his entire life in dozens of documented, like, serious lifelong cases, not to mention his, like, anti-Semitism, his response to the both sidesism of, like, you know, white supremacy, like, his immigrant rhetoric and fear-mongering, like, the entire wall discussion. Like, the government is shut down because Trump won't, like, accept reopening the government without a fucking, like, symbolic, like, multi-billion-dollar funding for a wall that nobody wants or needs. And you're sitting here asking me how I can say he's a racist? Donald Trump is a racist! Like, it's a thing! Yeah, it's not a wall, it's a set of slats. Is that where we're going with this? God, the whole fucking discourse around the wall is so goddamn stupid, too. Like, everything about it is fucking stupid. Oh, God. So fucking angering. Alright, be careful, Zero. Fuck. Got distracted by chat for a second there. All my fault, sorry. I do it better this time. Yeah. Ah, I got stuck on the wrong side of that. Alright, let's try this again. Wall with a pretty door. Oh god, and it's just like, it's fucking horrible, right? Like, we're talking about this shit while, you know, and then like they're planning on, like, processing tax returns, right? So they're like, oh yeah, like, if the government is still shut down, you're still gonna be able to, like, get your tax returns filed. And it's like, it's such blatant, like, pandering and realization that, like, hey, the government does important things that people fucking care about, but we're not gonna reopen the government. We're just gonna do the parts that, like, make people sufficiently upset in an ongoing attempt to, like, mitigate all of the consequences of the stupid fucking actions that we have participated in, because we figured out that, like, by the way, people actually really value parts of the government, like their food stamps and their you know, apartments that, like, HUD failed to like fund the contract for, and the tax returns that the government has their money and like isn't paying them, and we're sitting here arguing over like whether Trump is a racist because he won't give people a wall because Fox and Friends fucking made fun of him. Like that's, oh good God. Taco Bell is delicious. It's not a national emergency. It's a national emergency on your intestines, but, you know, that's fine. Oh, fuck you, flame bait. God damn. Oh, yeah, you didn't know that's why? So, like, the reason that, so there's a whole law that, like, a whole congressional spending package that went through, right? It went through the House, it went through the Senate and got 71 votes. And like McConnell doesn't let anything that Trump isn't going to sign go through the Senate, right? Like he like is just like, if Trump won't say he'll pass it, then you know I won't even fucking bring it up. What am I doing? Why is his life not going down? Okay, I guess I fucked it up. Alright, so I gotta be faster, apparently. Didn't realize that. Okay. But yeah, so Mitch McConnell would not allow a spending bill to go through unless he thought Trump would pass it. But the spending bill went through, and the Senate passed it by a veto-proof majority, right? So, like, why did it go through? Well, it went through because Mitch McConnell let it through, because Trump said, like, yeah, I'll sign whatever. Like, I just want to keep the government open. And then, like, the next day, Fox and Friends figured out that, like, oh, there's no wall funding in this bill, so like we can't allow that. Like, and they made fun of Trump and called him a wuss for like not sticking up for his wall, and so he said like, nope, not gonna sign it. Like, I need my $5 billion in wall funding. There's no way I'm gonna sign anything that doesn't have that money. Like, you're just gonna have to go back and try again. And so like that was what triggered this whole thing, is that the Fox and Friends hosts made fun of Trump for not doing what they thought he should on funding the government. So we are now ruled by a set of like talk show hosts on America's propaganda network, Fox News, and that's just the way the country runs these days. Fuck, didn't mean to bounce off that wall. Yeah, so that is how we got to where we are. And it's still, again, we still, like, there's the House already, so those bills expired at the end of the previous congressional session, so they can't reuse the same bills. But the House has already repassed those spending bills, and so they are sitting waiting for Mitch McConnell to take them up whenever, and has a veto-proof majority on them. And so, like, there is absolutely no reason to expect that the second that Mitch McConnell wanted to, that he couldn't reopen the government. And that's sad. All right. It's almost like it wouldn't have even been possible to escape. I know, right? Okay, so every time I hit him with this, it takes away a little bit of life. He's got, I think, 3 bars of life, so... Doing okay. it's pillars. Do a spray. Another spray. Long spray. Pillars. Boom. Got it. Mission was a success because of you. I really appreciate your help. Great. I got a cyber elf that I don't know how to use. Awesome. Alright, let's go find a shuttle. Crash landed somewhere in the desert. Alright. Hurry and help. I don't want to, but that's fine. I'm gonna anyway. I said I would, and I'm sticking to my word. Ow! Stop chewing on my leg. Yeah, so overall, we should have much higher taxes, but pretty much nobody who I would talk to should pay them. People who are like me should pay them, but not people like you. If I could, I would just pay all of your taxes. Like, screw it. No, nobody who isn't me should pay taxes. I can't afford to do that, though. In total, you probably pay more in taxes than I make in money, so that's not a thing I can do, but... I mean, it's making him look real dumb. I am not aware of any positive effect this is having on Trump, no. I think, you know, the reality, though, is that it's not harming him that much, either. Like... among his base, like, they just know that he is the God King, and so there's nothing that he can do wrong. Like, if Trump says it, he's a great deal maker, it must be true that it's, like, the only way to do it. On God, old timer! Also, Trump is, like, oh God, so, like, Trump's hotel in DC is, like, a National Historic Landmark, and, there's a story that basically, like, his... Oh, that sucked. Like, despite the fact that, you know, national parks are all closed. Well, national parks are open, but they're not being staffed, right? Like, the national parks are... People can go into them, but they have no staff, no rangers, no anything else like that. So they're, like, overrun with trash, and they're, like, people are, like, starting fires and getting themselves hurt and blah, 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 because, like, this is all a good idea, clearly. So Trump's hotel, which is a national, like, has a national site in it, actually has rangers staffing it, because of course it does. So despite them being shut down, his property, of course, still has National Park Rangers inside of it. Now, I don't know if they're essential for some reason, because it's the post office, because it's DC, because it's whatever, I don't know. Like, maybe there's some actual reason for this that makes sense, but it certainly seems like it's just more of Trump's, like, typical, you know, I got mine, like, fuck you, take. So, yeah, so Trump isn't suffering a lot because his base doesn't blame him. and the media has moved on to blaming Democrats for saying calling him a motherfucker. Which, like, if you need someone to be upset about that, like, I've been doing this for the past 3 years here on the channel, so, you know, it's not new. I'll help you out anytime, news people. Yeah. All right. What the fuck? What am I supposed to do about that? I don't. I actually think, like, I actually appreciate representatives like the whole, like, the media is going to cover them wrong. The media is going to fuck up no matter what. Like, they're going to fuck up by taking the Republican framing and making that the story. Like, I would much rather the story be about the fact that Trump is a motherfucker than about the fact that, like, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was dancing. Like, I'm way happier with the idea that the reframing here is that, like, your representatives from, like, fucking Detroit are out there, like, standing up for you and doing what, you know, we know you believe in, than anything else. Like, wait, what the fuck am I supposed to do about that? Like, I do not understand. This game sucks. But your representatives are supposed to represent you. Like nothing that anyone says is going to make Trump's base love him any less. Nothing that anyone says is going to make, like, hardcore Republicans, there are hardcore Democrats like him anymore. Like, and independents are not swayed. I don't buy that independents are swayed by that bullshit reporting. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, this game sucks. I expect that if I actually understood how to use these cyber elves, like, maybe that would help me. So maybe I should look that up. How to use a cyber elf. How do you use a cyber elf in Mega Man 0? Oh, I guess you have to feed your elves? Oh, you can jump off the walls. Okay. Yeah, so the media's stupid and sucks. And, like, nothing that you can do other, like, I am out here representing what my constituents sent me here for. Like, it's that simple. Fuck that. And the breathless reporting around it is just, like, more examples of, like, media sucks. Yes, I am speaking in a theoretical way. In the same way that you said it's kind of silly to make those comments. Like, I'm also not making those comments. Or I'm making those comments, but the media isn't going to cover me. Like, the media doesn't care about me, as we've proven time and time again. Like, they're covering it breathlessly because it's a fucking congressional person, right? So... Alright, fine. Got through that. Jeez, look at how much fucking life this enemy has. Like, she's got, like, 4 life bars. Ah! A new constituent! I am the mayor of Shanbar. Fuck this game. Alright, let's just relax. But yeah, we now have a set of representatives who are more representative than any we've had ever. You know, there's more women, more people of color, more women of color, more younger people than we've had since, you know, probably the founding of our country. I mean, certainly more people of color since the founding of our country. Like, there is absolutely no, like, we're going to have a set of people who are going to behave in ways that are not the staid old ways of the average age 65 representatives that we've had for the past, like, forever. And you know what? Great. Like, because it's time to get past that stupid model of politics. It's time to get past a bunch of old white guys who can't deal with somebody swearing. It's time to get back of that. I don't think I can do it, Supermodel. I think I'm done. Let's see, let me figure out if there's like... Alright, so what I'm gonna do is get out of here. I'm gonna see if I can go back and give up. And then I'm gonna go to the trans server. Which I think is down here. Come here. Download ELF. Oh, I wanted to, yeah. Feed ELF. Okay, so that guy needs 750, which I do not have. I have 414. How about this guy? Girl, whatever. Alright, so I don't have the number that I need for that either. Alright. Okay, so now I have 3 elves. Let's see if this does me any good. I'm gonna rescue Kolbor. It's a different mission now, but it's fine. Yeah. Another thing that I'll say is that, like, it's not like this was an official press conference where she went out and said, we should impeach that motherfucker. Like, she was doing, like, a celebratory drinking night at a bar with people, like, with her team, and someone reported on that. Like, it's like, context matters, and, like, if you're gonna report on breathlessly on everything said in that context, like, there's so many things that are said, because it's just, like, the complete disingenuousness of reporting on an action like that is still frustrating to me, even though I know to expect it because the media is terrible. Like, it's garbage, it's asinine. Come back, maybe? It is totally ridiculous. Oh, these guys are all dead. Okay, so first of all, I should do this, and then I should... Okay, so Elf. Alright, so that gave me energy, but now that Elf is no longer charged... Oh. Which is not probably what I should have done. Okay. All right. Yeah, so the Google cheeseburger emoji did not have the cheese, had the cheese underneath the meat for a long time, and people got upset about that. And it was like over Christmas break 2016, 2017, and I think like Larry or somebody, Sergey or somebody was like, no, I think it was Sundar. Sundar said, we're gonna get that fixed. And so, like, 3 days later, there's, like, a P0 bug, like, please fix the cheeseburger emoji, and they went out there and did that, so. Oh, God. Yeah, that's right. It was some, yeah, like some, you know, what's his face from Charlottesville got, you know, indicted or sent to jail or whatever, and everyone else was reporting on that. No, I think it was, I don't know, whatever. And then Fox News was like concerned about the cheeseburger emoji, which then of course became the news cycle, and then like and then Google fucking fixed it. So, whatever. Stupid. Stupid bullshit. The media's terrible. I don't know. I don't know how to fix anything, but it's fine. It's not my job to fix anything. I cannot fix anything. The world is terrible, and that's all it will ever be. This game fucking sucks. No justice, no peace. Ugh, all right. That was not what I meant to use. No, the world's not alright. It's not. The world is in, like, desperate agony, screaming because we are killing it with fossil fuels. The world is, you know, we're killing species, we're killing ourselves, we're killing our neighbors, we're killing our friends. Like, we're not alright. Nothing's working. Like, the entire civilization is likely... Oh, that was not great. Okay, great. The entire civilization is likely to die, you know... Well, not an entire civilization. Probably only billions of people will die due to global warming in the next 100 years or whatever. So, you know, there's that. Sure, I didn't say there's nothing good in life. I just said we're all fucked. It's not about my world. Like, you can't separate out my world from everyone else's world. That's not a thing. It's only one world. Fuck! Ugh! Alright, so you do a dive. Also, my playing, like, the number of watts of power being used by my playing video games online right now, massive. The burlesque show was great. Yeah, so I went to burlesque show on Saturday, Smoke and Shadows, the annual, or the monthly, the monthly variety review show that's put together by one of my favorite producers, Elsa Riot. So Elsa is also the producer who put together the Get You a Girl Who Can Do Both show. What the fuck? Those light bulbs did not work the way I expected them to. Okay, jump over that, jump over, god damn it. All right, jump over this, jump over that. Okay, there's a fourth thing that I have to dodge. Yeah. No, work is good. My life is good. Julie, I'm having a little trouble fighting with her to finish up college applications. There's still 2 schools that are due next week that I'm just like, you know, she's got to write like a 500-page paper or 500-word like essay. And I'm just struggling so hard to get her to do that. It's super frustrating because I know she can write, but she just wants to spend all of her time on Facebook. And I'm like, do you want to go to college? Like, because this is like an opportunity for you to try and get there, and you're just not putting any effort into it. And I realized that like I probably was the same way. My parents probably fucking hated it. It was probably extremely frustrating for them, but it's just really rough. So, it's you know, it's really like, and so I'd be like, okay, cool, like we have outlined a thing, right? It's like, how will you be like a good citizen in the whatever community? And I'm like, okay, well, what's one thing you want to do after you're done with school? She's like, I want to teach kids. Okay, great. So what's one way you could, like, you know, talk about that? Could you talk about, like, you know, joining a daycare program and helping teach while you're at school there? And she's like, yeah, that seems good. And I was like, cool. Okay, so why do you want to, like, talk about 3 things? Talk about, you know, why do you want to do that? Or what do you want to do? Why do you want to do that? And how could you do that at here, right? So, like, I have, you know, used my blog because I have worked with these programs for several years. I've worked with kids. I care about education. Like, she knows all this and she can recite it to me, but, like, I can't, like, she can recite it out loud, and then I'm like, okay, cool, type those words, and she won't. And it's just like, you know, she'll say, okay, and then, like, I will, like, turn away, and now she's got, like, Facebook and YouTube open, and that's it. So, like, I'm like, okay, write 2 sentences. No. Write a paragraph. No. And so, like, I was gone for an hour and a half earlier, and she typed 12 words, like, less than a sentence. And I'm just like, I can't. I can't help with this process. Like, I cannot write this essay I mean, I could write this essay for you. Like, I know what is in your head, but it's your college essay. Like, this is your performance. This is what you're doing for her. So, she doesn't write Facebook posts. No. She doesn't believe in posting to Facebook. She, like, the only thing she uses Facebook for is Messenger to write fanfic with her, you know, friend all day. Like, and it's so goddamn annoying. I just want her, I want her to get the things that she wants. And she won't, because she's not interested in trying, and that's sad. No, it's anime. Something. Get out of here! Yeah, she actually one of her colleges required like a piece of creative writing, and the thing that she pulled for that was like her anime fanfic that she wrote for her gender studies class, which is a fine piece of writing. It's not that it's not, but it was like, really? I think that's what you're gonna go with? It's like, all right, you know what? If it is the piece of writing that you are proudest of, then great. That's what you're gonna show them, and they're gonna be able to make a decision based on that. So, you know, I'm going to tell you that I think you should have something more serious, think about something more serious, but, you know, it's your decision to make. 18 years old, kid. Oh, god damn it. Alright, I'm getting farther now. But yeah, no, organizing with the socialists is frustrating and annoying, because they're just completely poorly organized. Organizing with Googlers is much more rewarding. Like doing the same kind of political organizing with Google employees is so much better because they have a broader set of resources available. They have more experience working in teams. They have, you know, a broader set of contacts and skills and people they can call on for favors and other things like that. And, you know, they also realize that you can't organize by getting everyone to agree. Like, consensus building is extremely difficult, so you're much better off building extremely small cells of people who can work together on a specific area and allowing them to be independent rather than, you know, drastically large consensus building like is common in the DSA. So I'm organizing around efforts, so we're like, I'm participating in organizing a social media blitz, and I'm like, okay, so you're gonna do XYZ, have you thought about the accessibility of that? And they're like, no, and I'm like, okay, cool, and someone else is like, all right, I've done accessibility for the past, you know, many years on X, Y, and Z, so I'm gonna help with that, and I'm like, cool, and I know the person who did, like, this thing in the Cambridge office, and so I'll talk to her, and so, like there's just all these resources we can call on, and it's one of the things that I've really, you know, was kind of, like, worried about when I joined Google was disappearing from the face of the planet and no longer talking to people in public, because that's happened to many of my Googlers, my friends who've joined Google, is like they're participating in public like mailing lists and discussions and everything else like that, and then they join Google and they stop, and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't want to be like that. And it wasn't until I joined Google that I realized that the reason for that has nothing to do with like Google, well, little to do with Google's like internal rules around communication, and has everything to do with the fact that Google has a ton of really smart people. And because it's so big, it has people interested in almost everything. So you can build up like these interest groups inside Google that are about whatever topic you're interested in. And instead of it being filled with people from the internet, and we all know that many people on the internet are fucking terrible, like you can have these conversations among a group of like-minded folks who are, you know, internal to Google and like have all of this experience. And like, so, I mean, and some of it comes back to the same things that I really love about working there, right? Like I had a question about the performance of a particular packet trace, and so like someone's like, oh, like you should email this guy, and I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, and I look him up, and he's like one of the authors of the TCP/IP spec. It's just like, oh yeah, just go ask him. Like, he works on the Make TCP Fast team, like, or Make Internet Fast, whatever. Like, this team, like, he's just email him, and I'm like, okay, like, that's cool. So the same thing applies to a lot of the social communities inside Google, is that, you know, you want to talk to the people who are interested in political organizing. It's like, oh, here's this, you know, draft of a bill that was organized with this organization and that organization, and here's where we think it is and what we need to in order to push it, and we're going to move forward on this, and the expectation is it'll be voted on in July, and so we're going to organize a trip down there with a bunch of people going, and so on and so forth. I think Googlers are it's, I don't know, like, into socialism means such a, like, a weird set of things, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, I would email the cooking list, but I don't have a Wangle Jangler, so. No, so, like, I had a long conversation today. So I'm doing Blue Apron. My first box is in the mail at the moment, right? And so I had a long conversation today with coworkers, and, like, you know, there was a question of, like, people were like, oh, is this good? Like, how does this work out for you? And there were several people who were like, oh, I liked Blue Apron, but then I stopped because of this. And one person who was like, I used this local company, and they were much better about fresh food because it was all local, but they recently closed down because it turned out they had only gotten 700 subscribers, and that does not a sustainable business make. And, like, here's some things that you should know about using Blue Apron, and here's my invite code for, like, HelloFresh, and, like, you can do this and rotate through all of these, and here's the cancellation policies on them, and it's, like, it's great. All right, get out of here. Well, the reality is that, like, you may not use them all at the same time, right? So, like, up until noon tomorrow, I can go onto the Blue Apron website and I can say, like, don't ship me anything next week. So if I looked at their recipes, so I'm signed up for 2 recipes a week, so I have 2 recipes they picked for me by default, and there are 7 other options that I can pick from. And if I didn't like any of those for some reason, then I could be like, screw it, like, please don't send me food this week, right? So I don't pay for any food on any week that I don't use it. So being signed up for those services has no particular cost so long as I'm not eating from them. Now that does mean that, like, yes, if all of your meals come from them, that could be a problem, but I don't know who Chrissy Teigen is, so that means nothing to me. I assume some kind of chef. I feel like maybe she was on Hot Ones at one point. You don't believe me she was on Hot Ones? I think she was. Maybe not? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person. Nothing's worthy about Twitter. Terrible website. Another cool thing is I've written 6,000 words in blog entries over the past week, so I'm pretty happy about that. I've got my cooking blog is coming along. I went ahead, I've got a couple of, so I've got, I wrote my entry about my sink not working, but I've got the plumber coming to fix that on Wednesday, so I need to record some video of my sink not working before the plumber comes and fixes it. I don't know who Chrissy Teigen? I don't know who that is. Is she like, is she somebody famous? Did she make a cookbook or something? I mean, I assume she did because she had a Blue Apron season, so presumably she cooks. Ah! Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. I've been working on a series of posts about like my year of playing dress up. So I've got Chris Plays Gourmet and Chris Plays Gorgeous, you know, following the CPG theme. So Gourmet will be my cooking blog and Gorgeous will be my drag blog. I'm really enjoying writing those posts. Really enjoying long form writing. I've been working on getting, or I'm not have been working, but I'm hoping on getting back into subscribing to things via RSS. And then I've got an idea that I want to do. So like, I love algorithmic sorting. I know I'm the only person on the planet who like strongly holds this opinion that I don't want chronological sort. I want algorithmic sorting. I think it is extremely valuable in the content that I consume. I turned off my algorithmic sorting on Twitter for a while, and I fucking hated it. It made my Twitter timeline completely unbearable. And so like that's a thing. Yeah, so the problem is that he turns around at the end of that, right? So like, so like I did damage boost to get behind him, but then he turned around at the end, which fucked up the entire pattern. Now I did get him locked into a little cycle really quick in a corner there, and I want to do that, try and do that again. I don't know who real life Arthur is either. I mean, I'm sure it's some meme thing you're referring to, but I feel like the real life Arthur thing was some like commercial. It was like a commercial for Duo or something, wasn't it? Fuck. Fuck. Okay, good. Like he was putting on clothes and like she stopped taking his calls at all because she could see the clothes that were gonna be on him because Duo had the face look feature. Something. Which probably means that he, let's see. Duo, that advertisement, that was around the time that we had the Google I/O announcing that John Legend's voice was gonna be on Google Home. So I think real life Arthur is John Legend, and Chrissy Teigen is John Legend's wife. Maybe. That's what I'm gonna go with. Presumably this is about as correct as my thoughts on my representative Biz Markie from the Beastie Boys, but that's what I've got. Alright, so he's green at the moment. I think I have to get his life bar to yellow. Yeah. And then through yellow. So, okay. What are we gonna do here? Nope, not that. Okay, so I'm gonna flip up here. Nope. Trying to figure out if there's anything better that's... Oh, did I get the John Legend thing right? I did something right. That's nice. But yeah, so burlesque show. So the burlesque show that I like going to, and now it's on Saturday, so I can go every month, and I'm super excited about that. It's also on Saturdays, and Saturday is a much better night for doing a show in the evening than Monday, as it turns out. So it's sold out. So I'm super happy for Elsa because she's now selling out her show. Yeah, so this month there were. We had for performers. We had the someone from the Rhode Island Academy of Burlesque who came up, and she did a couple of great like just really funny acts, which I thought was great. But she also does her own like costumey things. So her own costumery or whatever. So she had like these amazing like gilded corsets, and like she was doing like this retro gingham dress bit. you know, so she had this whole bit where she was like going through the process of like going to the store and buying stuff for a sandwich and everything else like that, and the idea that the song gave you was like, oh, like she's gonna buy us and make a sandwich for her husband or whatever, and she like at the end of the set, you know, she's like, fuck that, like takes off all of her clothes, sits down and eats the sandwich all on her own. That was good. Hello, Sunny Doo. And then Dark and Stormy is a member of Surlesque, and he is like this absolutely amazing dancer. Like just absolutely incredible. Like this guy can like, he'll like, you know, turn around, do a backflip, land in splits, jump back up, flip back over, and go the other way. Like the most acrobatic guy out there, as well as being extremely hot. Yeah, Surlesque, S-I-R, like as in like men. The Boston's male burlesque troupe is called Surlesque. Yeah, and then beyond that, there was a comedian who was is much more, I don't know, much more proletarian than the average like Somerville crowd. He was a townie, right? So and so he gave us some good stories, but they were more stories I would associate like Brad would have enjoyed, right? Like that I was kind of like, I don't really get what's going on here. So, you know, jokes about angel dust and PCP don't do it for me, because it's like, I'm a little bit too young for them, and two, I'm a little bit not too aware of drugs to get them. And so that was an interesting difference from the typical comedy acts that Elsa brings in. And then the musical act was like a Caribbean singer, Haitian Creole, sang in Haitian Creole, and like, you know, brought people up and taught them to dance in a Caribbean style and other stuff like that. So yeah, no Cher burlesque shows that I have seen around here. Get out of here. I think okay, well then I'm too, like, I don't know enough about drugs for angel dust. I do know there was a bit of a generational age gap thing there though, because he was talking about like, you know, what happened when like the Magic Johnson news came out, and I was like, you know, his experience there, where, you know, he was getting beat up because, you know, all the kids were like, Magic Johnson has AIDS, and because he was the son of a doctor, he was like, Magic Johnson's HIV positive, and they you know, beat him up for that or whatever else like that. And I was like, I know Magic Johnson as a name, but the fact that he, you know, was someone who had like AIDS was not something that I would know. So yeah, do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me saying, I really don't think I'm strong enough. No, isn't that Cher? Is that not Cher? Maybe that's somebody else. Who's that? That's Madonna. Cher. Cher is the other one. What am I thinking? Anyway. Wasn't Cher, didn't Cher have like a big, like, she was like a big early auto-tune song, wasn't it? Am I remember it wrong? Well, Madonna's like a virgin in Vogue. You put the little triangle fingers in front of your face and make pointy boobs. No, not, it was before Kanye West. It was 2000. Auto-tune. What am I thinking of? Wait, that is Cher. I was right. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying I was so close on saying that was Cher, but I was right. I said a thing that was correct. Madonna had another song that I was thinking of that was in that same era, but I don't know what it is, so it doesn't matter. Because I was right. I sang a song by Cher when someone said Cher's name. So there. And it was heavily auto-tuned, and it was released in 1999. So I was thinking 2000. I was a little bit off, but I did have the right idea. All right, so I'm not gonna win this time, but it's all right. I'm making progress, sort of. Get out of here. Fuck. Okay, that did no extra damage to her, so. Yeah, so, and then, like Elsa just brings together a great group of diverse, like, talented people, from different backgrounds, different walks of life, like, different, you know, like, cultural heritage, like, you know, and it's really nice. So, I had a lot of fun at the show. And it's really nice. It's also really nice because, like, I've been following Elsa for, I mean, she's been doing the show for 2 years, and I've been following her for 1.5 years. And so, like, at this point, I'm, like, every time she posts the show, I like, post on Facebook, I tell people to go. Like, I've been 4 times at this point. And so every time I come, she, like, makes a special note to, like she'll come and, like, come and see me. She'll stop by my seat. She'll say hi, like, when she's, like, getting ready and everything else like that. It makes me feel special. Like, it's nice to be an early adopter of, like, a performer and producer who I think does a really great set of work that I enjoy, and be part of that. So it's kind of cool. All right. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. That was not what I meant to do. I think I got the trick. Jump, jump, jump. Avoid. Nope. I did not get the trick, but that's okay. No, I don't want free. Like, money is not the thing for me, right? Like, that's, I am lucky enough that I would rather that money go to, you know, because I'm pretty sure that the way some of these things work is that the performers and the producer and everybody else like that gets part of the bar tab. So, like, their goal is to get people, the goal of the bar is to get people in who are going to sell more drinks. Like, that's why they offer these spaces. So if she gives me free drinks, it's just giving me money out of her pocket, and I'd rather have that money be in her pocket than be in mine. So well, I'm sorry you were promised a free drink, Jose. The only drink you're getting here is this tall glass of water right here, baby. Oh, I took my hand out of the controller. Also, you're trying to sit here and confuse me with your Kanye West bullshit. Like Believe was special because it was auto-tuned before people knew that it was auto-tuned. Like, that was a really, like, people didn't know how it, like, it was a little bit unique because it was the first major time it was in, like, a top 40 song, and people didn't know, like, what she was doing to get that effect, I feel like, initially. I'm sure it came out quickly for people who are in the, like, you know, performance space or whatever, but it was like like a unique thing that her voice did this, like, weird little thing, so. So I have looked at using autotune before. I never came up with anything that I like listened to and felt like it gave me a compelling experience in any way. By the way, my goal is just to beat this boss, and then I am done with this fucking game because it is trash. I don't know what the fuck it is I'm supposed to be doing that would make this game easier, but there is no way it is supposed to be this hard. Or if it is a garbage-ass game, and I do not feel bad abandoning it in the slightest. But I do want to beat this boss, so we may be here for the next 3 hours just beating this boss, so... I'm not sure I could use it to do that either. But yes, so this week I will be making a chicken with orange slaw. I will be making a gnocchi of some kind. I will probably be making the gnocchi on Wednesday, and I will be making the chicken for Jess and I on Saturday. On Sunday, I will hopefully be taking another documentary or another cinematography, like filmmaking class with the same person who taught my coloring class. So yeah, no, I've got plenty of good shit going on in my life. It's just that the planet's about to be destroyed, and you know there are hundreds of thousands of government workers who are not getting paid, including some of them who are my friends. I you know am sad to look at the state of the world around me and realize that it's just utterly fucked. But I'm in good shape, so at least I've got that going for me, which is nice. I put together, I don't know if people saw, but I did actually tweet out and post on Facebook a time-lapse video of me doing the coloring book thing. So I took my 2.5 hours of coloring and compressed it down to 1.5 minutes. It came out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. Grabbed some royalty-free music from SoundCloud and got that out there, so it's not just random royalty-free ukulele like most things on YouTube. So the royalty-free ukulele comment is less about the ukulele as an instrument, which is, by the way, a terrible instrument, and more about the use of other people's royalty-free ukulele music on YouTube. There's a tendency to use the same royalty-free tracks over and over again, and so like I know that like every time I share a video with Leo, he's like, yep, I know that song really, really well, because of course he's watched a lot of YouTube videos and he recognizes these things, so that's where my comment comes from. Nothing specific against ukuleles other than the fact that they're absolutely terrible instruments that should not exist. Yeah, the slide was working out for me for a little bit there. Fuck. But once I get her out of the, like, once I kind of lose my main stun lock, I have a hard time getting back in cycle. If the people of Hawaii are offended by my description of their terrible instrument, I have no sympathy. They should get a better instrument. Fuck! Fuck this game. Alright. Madonna 2000. Music. What was the top song on this? Oh, music. Was this yeah, okay. Music makes the people come together. All right. So, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick out my Blue Apron recipes for next week. Not this week, because my recipes are already picked out for this week. But that's fine. So, what I am having from Blue Apron this week, Mexican spiced chicken with spicy orange slaw. In this flavorful dish, seared chicken is elevated by a coating of vibrant spices and a creamy, smoky dipping sauce made with fiery chipotle chili paste served on the side. It's paired with simple roasted potatoes and crisp cabbage slaw, studded with juicy orange, crunchy peanuts, and zesty pickled jalapeno. So I think this will be my Saturday meal. And then on Wednesday, I'll be having spicy beef and gnocchi with zucchini and pecorino. Thanks to our hearty spiced beef and tomato sauce, this dish has all the makings of a classic wintry comfort food. It's the perfect match for soft, warm gnocchi and tender bites of zucchini, all finished with a sprinkle of tangy pecorino cheese. Yeah. So that's what I'm currently at, right? So, and then, but here's my choices for next week. I can do chicken and coconut curry, seared steak and soy miso pan sauce. Those are the two things that I will get by default if I change nothing. I can also do beef and broccoli, sweet and smoky pork burgers, apple and cheddar grilled cheese, roasted chickpea and farro bowl, 3-cheese pizza, or Tuscan spiced cod. So those are the things that I have. I'm not sure about the seared steak and soy miso pan sauce, but there aren't actually a lot of other things in this that I think seem great. Maybe the Tuscan spiced cod. I feel like Jess would go for that. And I can get Julie to eat that. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change to this somehow. Change recipes. There's a button. Change recipes. All right, so let's change this to this and this. There we go. Save. Done. Manage delivery. Change delivery date. That can come on Tuesday, because I'll have it on Wednesday. Great. Just this delivery. Do that for now. Yeah. So I think Jess will eat cod more than she will any of the other things here. My Jess is really a fish eater, so that's what I'm going with the cod, is that I'm hopeful she'll eat that. She really loves salmon, but there's no salmon option next week. So yeah, so those are my recipes for next week. Again, this is a new experience for me. It may be that Blue Apron is not the perfect fit for me. I do not know yet. It is a thing that I'm going to try and find out. So, but there is, yeah, so, take the glasses off. It's time for a CPG rant. So I'm going to get started cooking. I'm going to click a button first. Fix this a little. It's bothering me. Okay. I'm going to start getting into cooking with Blue Apron. The key thing that I need to do with cooking is not to, learn how to follow a recipe. I can do that. I've done that. I cook goose, I cook, potatoes and everything else like that. I can do that. The key thing I need to do is get in the habit of cooking. That is, the point of the experience isn't to create a perfect meal every night. It's not to, like, anything else like that. It's to start cooking anything. Because I don't cook. I order in all of my food and have for a long time. I have never, as an adult, integrated cooking into my life. So I need to learn some skills that will let me expand my cooking repertoire. And that includes not just how to prepare things or cut things or anything else like that, but it actually includes also how do you put that in your week and make time for it. It means I need to do something anything that I can to eliminate stuff that would cause me not to cook, which means that I need to, and include a forcing function to make me do so. So Blue Apron is useful on a number of fronts here, right? First, I've got all the food I need to make a meal pre-gathered, packaged for me, no shopping, and most importantly, no trying to buy everything for a meal and realizing that the vegetable oil that I thought I had actually turned to sludge because it's been sitting unmoved in a cabinet for the past 9 months and having to give up on the whole meal. Like, this drastically changes the potential risk of getting a meal on the table. Second, I've got all the ingredients I need gathered in one place. I don't have to dig through the cabinet to find that bottle of cardamom that I know I have somewhere among the 56 other spices that I've never used. The ingredients all come together, they're all in a package, I can put them in one place and I'll know where they are. Third, the recipes are pre-selected. If I don't do anything, food just comes to me. I don't have to do any thinking about the meals that I want to make. I can, and I can share that with you, but I don't have to. It removes any cognitive load on trying to make a decision on what recipes I have. Finally, this food is going to keep coming. Like, by default, unless I take action, food will keep showing up. and I'm going to have to keep paying for it, whether I cook it or not. That forcing function, having food show up whether I want it or not, is something that like will force me, because having those meals show up and have a limited time to cook them, as someone who dislikes food waste and someone who dislikes money waste, I hope this will actually help me forcing to put me together and get things done. Now, I'm willing to acknowledge that Blue Apron is not the best way to cook in the long term. Anyone who has any real experience with cooking will quickly explain to you all the ways in which Blue Apron is good. The recipes are nothing special. They're fine, but they're not great. The ingredients aren't outstanding once they've been shipped across the country in a box with a freezer thing. Like, for folks living in broad swaths of food deserts around the United States, this might be good and the options may be stellar, but I live in Cambridge. I have like 4 specialty unique grocery stores within walking distance of my house. I go out to the bread store and the vegetable store and the meat store. I can buy iguana meat less than a mile from my house. Like, I have all kinds of special things available to me, and so this is not really a good set of ingredients by comparison. The environmental impact is huge. Like, shipping individually sized food packages rather than shipping in bulk is terrible. Like, I'm getting things shipped, and I know they're biodegradable packaging, but still, biodegradable freezer stuff is not really all that great no matter what. And there's a significant cost to the convenience. Like, it's still significantly cheaper than the ordering in all your food every night. Bulk buying is far cheaper once you're set up for it. But with all that said, the benefits for me outweigh the problems. Without a forcing function like this, I'll just never learn to cook, and I won't get started at all. So I bought in on Blue Apron. My first meal arrives this week, and I'm hopeful. It's a new year. I'm committed to giving this a go. I think that Blue Apron, or if not Blue Apron, some other recipe delivery box subscription may be the best way to get started on actually cooking things, a way to actually be forced to cook and practice the skills that I need in order to cook and get better so I can make real meals further down the line. For someone who has not had cooking as a component of his daily life since I left for college, like, I think this will be something that I need, because I need the help wherever I can get it, and Blue Apron can help me get started in the right direction. Yeah, this is like, I actually, while writing this blog post, I was looking over it and I'm like, wow, I'm never going to get sponsored by Blue Apron. Yeah, so, yeah, grilled cheese didn't seem like a recipe at all. That seemed like totally unfair. So, yeah. Don't cook the Yeah, so I want to make time for cooking because I'm tired of eating in everything. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of delivery food. Like, it's always, like, it used to be that, like, we had Kristen in the house and she would make things sometimes, and Alicia was in the house and she would make things sometimes, and I would, like, cook things sometimes, but, like, in the past 2 years, we just haven't cooked at all. Like, nothing. We've cooked nothing. And so, like, I am so tired of the same 7 places that we can all agree that we're willing to eat something from. And so, like, I've had the same stuff over and over and over again. And if I was on my own, at least there'd be more variety, but I can't convince the other people in my family to eat the things that I want to eat. And I'm just like, oh my God, I want real food. So, like, yes, yes. And the cooking books don't come with the ingredients. Like, I have 14 cookbooks. I have a whole cast iron cookbook that's 300 pages at this point. But I, like, having cookbooks and recipes doesn't mean that I know which recipe I have, and it certainly doesn't mean I have the food in my house. Like, my pantry has Pop-Tarts, tin soup, and beef jerky. You can't make a meal out of those things. I don't have potatoes. I don't have onions. I don't have sugar and flour. I don't have spices, and my vegetable oil has gone to shit. I don't have any ground beef. I don't have any of these things. And so, like, that's why I'm going into Blue Apron. Like, I don't like removing my choices on recipes, giving me all the food in one place so I can start fucking cooking. That's what I'm trying to do. And so, like, yeah. Yeah. So was it meat? I wonder if I just search my Google Photos for meat. Is it gonna do what I want? This is actually pretty cool. All right. So, like, let's look at this. Look at this. I search for meat. All right. I don't know why that's there, but whatever. I got goose. I got various lunches at Google. I've got, like, this handy burger, meatballs, everything else like that. But yes, the picture I was actually looking for is this one. This is the iguana meat. I've got ground rabbit. I've got goat stew meat. Like, I can go get meat. So, yeah. How does it know what's in that? But you can see meat. Look, there's meat right here. Meat. It's not perfect because this is definitely not meat, but you know. Anyway, so the bird, it's just the glaze on the outside of the legs got like this, but this part was like, it was super good. Like this part here, like this caramelized like orange glaze that Jess made that we dripped over it and everything else like that. Oh, so tasty, super tasty skin. Yeah, so. I need to learn how to do food photography. It is a thing that I need to learn how to do. And look, this is my previous goose. Back from 2016, because I cooked goose on December of 2018 and December 24th of 2018 and December 24th of 2016. So yeah, so I guess this one was like had less of the look of being burnt, but it was way more well done. Like the meat here, way more tender. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of cool. I just searched for meat, and it brought up all the pictures I care. What happens if I search for beer? That's a beer. That's a beer. It's not all a beer. There's no beer here. Now, this is me talking to the camera when I was eating at that place, but that's a beer. That is not a beer. I don't know where you get beer from that, Google, but whatever. Vegetables. Pizza with salad, potatoes. I don't know what the hell that is, but okay. Brussels sprouts. Watermelon is not a vegetable, but nice try. That is a giant map. That's a pumpkin. Are pumpkins vegetables? I guess they are. That's fine. I'll allow it. This is when I was in college. This is like this is a 16-year-old picture at this point. A watermelon's not a vegetable. I do actually think fruit and vegetable are exclusive, but not everything that people think is a vegetable actually is. Like a tomato is a fruit and not a vegetable. But watermelon is not a vegetable. Pumpkins are vegetables. Are pumpkins vegetables? Oh, pumpkin's a fruit. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. All right. I was wrong. It's not that I was being snobby. It's that I was just wrong. Are watermelons vegetables? Okay. So watermelon is a vegetable as well. All right. I was wrong. Okay. Watermelons and pumpkins are vegetables. I have learned important things today. Or rather, watermelons and pumpkins can both be considered vegetables. Can we agree on that? Like if we're gonna go with they're not exclusive, there's that. Anyway, yes. So I still have the desire to yes. So I am going to have my food blog, my cooking blog. I'm going to make videos about cooking stuff. I am going to get into this space because I think cooking is important. I think that eating in the same food over and over will drive me crazy, and I don't want to do that. So I want to, it's a thing I want to do, and you can think I'm stupid and wasting time and everything else like that, but I don't care. It's a thing I'm going to do. So that's part of what I'm going to do. I am not going to do cooking live streams for the near future because hosting a live stream everything takes twice as long. So I'm not going to do any cooking live streams for the time being. I need to get better at cooking first. So I will get better at cooking, and I will record some of what I cook, and I will share and I will edit videos afterwards. Maybe at some point in the long time future, I will, you know, live stream something, but that's a long way in the future. So yeah, but you can find me on YouTube as Chris Plays Gourmet. I have 5 subscribers. And I will have a second video up soon, but you will have already seen it because you saw it here first. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited. I know it's not what everyone would do. I know it's not how Brad would live his life. And Jose thinks I'm stupid because he thinks that I can just follow recipes from a cookbook. But I'm trying out Blue Apron, even though I know Blue Apron is bad for cooking. I'm trying out Blue Apron because it removes 4 of the 5 steps that I need to get, 4 of the 6 steps that I need to get food on the table. No, I didn't say you said it. I just said you thought it. Yeah. People don't think this is a wise idea, and that's fine. It's important to me. So. And yes, this article that I wrote, I'm somewhat proud of. I'm getting my thoughts out in writing on a blog that I have set up, and I'm happy about that. So. That's good. Take care, Brad. Yeah, I have no idea what's best for me. Absolutely no idea. No clue whatsoever. I'm happy with what I'm doing for the moment, and that's what's key for me. It's been fun writing about like my early experiments in drag and digging out like conversations with people and like photos I sent and took, and like, you know, going to like the whatever, like, you know, to websites and like using their online putting lipstick on your lips things to figure out like what color lipstick works with my face and other things like that. So that's funny. So I cannot make money off of these things, Jose. The way I make money is that I work at Google. That's where the money is. So every piece of advice that I have is get lucky, get job at Google. That's the only advice I have for making money. It has been, yeah. So anyway, the world is fucked. We're all fucked. Politics is fucked. Government is fucked. We're all screwed. But at least I'll have environmentally damaging, poor quality ingredients of food delivered to my doorstep that I can turn into food for my family. So there's that. It's been a lovely night with you all. Mega Man Zero is a terrible game I will never play again. And I hope that you all have a lovely night and a lovely week. I'll be back on Friday playing Volume again. I'm really looking forward to that. I really enjoyed the game. And I hope to see you there. If not, I will see you some other time. Next week, let's see. I should be around next week. So no changes in the schedule next week as far as I know. So that's that. I will catch you all later. Bye-bye.